connecting the Jamaican diaspora abroad and at home. Both sides of the story. Both sides of the story, highlighting the positive role of the Jamaican diaspora. Both sides of the story. Both sides of the story. Both sides of the story. Always need to hear both sides of the story. Both sides of the story. Time now for both sides of the story on Power 106 FM. We will not take sides, but we listen to your side. Join us as we explore the issues, present the facts, speak with the experts, and as always, listen to both sides. What's your story? Tell us on both sides of the story. 922-4112, 922-4113, 922-4114, and 922-4115. You can listen to both sides of the story on the Gleaner's website, www.go-jamaica.com, on your mobile phones at tunein.com or novex.com, or by dialing 832-551-5045 or 213-493-0133 in the USA. If you're in the UK, you can dial 020-3519-0145, and in Germany, 051-180-904044. Our email address is bothsides106@live.com, and you can join us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, or link us up on Skype. We look forward to receiving your instant messages on MSN or Yahoo, and your text messages on 365-3346. Remember, we have 2 ears and 1 mouth, so we can listen twice as much as we speak. So stay with us as we listen to both sides of the story. Both sides of the story. Both sides of the story. Knowledge is power. Class is in session, hour 106.
It was the best of times. It was the worst of times. It was the age of wisdom. It was the age of foolishness. It was the epoch of belief. It was the epoch of incredulity. It was the season of light. It was the season of darkness. It was the spring of hope. It was the winter of despair. We had everything before us. We had nothing before us. We were all going direct to heaven. We were all going direct the other way. In short, the period was so far like the present period that some of its noisiest authorities insisted on its being received for good or for evil, in the superlative degree of comparison only.
Find yourself in the town, and all around the town. To shut some stranger down. Sleeping with an empty bottle, to sign an empty heart. You need your job, you get respect, you get what you can. No, they always need to hear both sides of the story. both sides of the story.
Even we see shadow, it's not in our night. Young faces hide in the shadows while they watch
Their mother and father fight. She says he's been unfaithful. She says our love for him has gone. And the brother strokes his chest and says, looks like it's just us from now on. We always need to hear both sides of the story. We need to hear both sides of the story. The lights are on now. The world is watching now.
people looking for truth. We must not fail now. Be sure
Before you cross the line, walk away from here. Until you hear both sides. No, 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 no.
here we are all gathered in what seems to be the center of the storm. Believers once friendly now stand inside of the line that has been drawn. They've been fighting here for years, but now there's killing on the streets. While small coffins are lined up sadly, now united in defeat. All we always need to hear both sides of the story. When the lights are all on, the world wants you now. People looking for truth, we must not fail now. Be sure before we close our eyes, walk away from here till we see both sides. Oh. White man turns the corner, finds himself within a different world. Ghetto kid grabs his shoulder, throws him up against the wall.
He says, would you respect me if I didn't have this gun? 'Cause without it,
I don't get it,
and that's why I carry one. We always need to hear
both sides of the story. Both sides of the story. Oh, both sides of the story. Yes, both sides of the story. Oh, both sides of the story. Both sides of the story. Both sides of the story.
It's the International Decade of Healthy Aging, the International Decade of Ecosystem Restoration, the International Decade of Ocean Science for Sustainable Development, the Decade of Action for Road Safety, and 2022 marks the start of the UN International Decade of Indigenous Languages. It's the 16th day of the second month of 2022, the International Year of Sustainable Mountain Development, the International Year of Basic Sciences for Sustainable Development, the International Year of Glass, and the International Year of Artisanal Fisheries and Aquaculture. Heart Month and Reggae Month celebrations are on here in Jamaica and the diaspora, even as Americans, Canadians, Britons, and the Dutch celebrate February as Black History Month. It's Independence Day in Lithuania. That's Independence Day 1918 in Lithuania. And Kim Jong-il's birthday is being commemorated in North Korea. It's Safer Sex Week in Jamaica and the 16th annual Foster Care Awareness Week under the theme Fostering Love. Hoy es miércoles el 16 de febrero 2022 y les saludamos en cualquier parte del mundo que nos están escuchando en este momento. Estamos muy agradecidos por el don de la vida y el privilegio de servirles en otra edición de su programa Both Sides of the Story, ambos lados de la historia. Nunca vamos a tomar su audiencia por sentado, porque sabemos que ustedes tienen otras opciones. Y esta es la razón por la cual jamás olvidamos darle las gracias por elegir Both Sides of the Story, ambos lados de la historia, de lunes a viernes desde las 2 hasta las 5 de la tarde, aquí en Power 106 FM. La misión continúa para educar, capacitar, iluminar y estimular el espíritu empresarial. Bienvenidos. C'est mercredi le 16 février 2022 et nous vous saluons tous qui nous écoutez où que vous soyez dans le monde. Nous sommes reconnaissants du don de la vie ainsi que du privilège d'être à votre service par une nouvelle édition de votre programme Both Sides of the Story, le pour et le contre. Nous ne considérons pas votre fidélité comme l'un de soi parce que nous savons que vous avez l'embarras du choix. C'est pourquoi nous n'oublions jamais de vous remercier de choisir d'écouter Both Sides of the Story, le pour et le contre, du lundi au vendredi de 2h à 5h de l'après-midi sur notre antenne Power 106 FM. Nous continuons notre mission d'éduquer, d'habiliter, d'éclairer et d'encourager l'esprit d'entreprise. Bienvenue. All we're saying is it's Wednesday, the 16th of February, 2022, and we greet you well, wherever in the world you are listening to us right now. We remain eternally grateful for the gift of life and the privilege to serve you on yet another edition of your program, Both Sides of the Story. We don't ever take your listenership for granted because we know you have choices. And that's why we never, ever forget to remember to say thanks for choosing to listen to Both Sides of the Story, Monday to Friday, 2 to 5, right here on Power 106 FM. The mission continues to educate, empower, enlighten, and encourage entrepreneurship. Welcome.
Story. Both sides of the story.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
215. Attention seniors. The Ministry of Labor and Social Security is now accepting applications for the social pension program. If you are 75 years or older and do not have a pension or steady income, you should apply. Take your government ID, birth certificate, NIS and TRN cards, and your bank account details. Remember, if you receive PATH or poor relief, your benefit will be transferred to the new program. For more information, call 876-922-8007. The Social Pension Program, caring for our elderly. A message from the Ministry of Labor and Social Security.
Sipa Copa.
Sipa Copa?
Yes, Sipa Copa.
Sipa Copa what?
Sipa Copa Ital Jamaican Moringa tea bags.
Sipa Copa Moringa, turmeric, vervine, neem, and guinea hen wheat tea bags today. Sipa Copa tea is available in supermarkets island-wide. So Sipa Copa today, you'll be happy you did.
Distributed by Caramed Group Limited.
The month of February will be blazing with a celebration of reggae. Tune in as Phone Frequency amps things up weekly with Rock Steady, Lovers Rock, 90s reggae and dancehall, 2000s millennium music, and an official salute to the women of reggae. So celebrate your Jamaican music, reggae and dancehall all month long at Phone Frequency. Sponsored by Smirnoff Vodka, the world's #1 vodka. You must be 18 years or older to drink. Drink responsibly. Buy great tropical rhythms. Join the rhythm and by the Ministry of Culture, Gender, Entertainment, and Sport.
Good afternoon to those of you listening to us on 106.1, 106.3, 106.5, 106.7, and 106.9. From Moran Point to Negril Point, from the Goat Islands to Galena Point. This is Power 106 FM, serving Jamaica and the diaspora. Hello to those tuned in via the Power 106 FM app, which you've downloaded from the App Store or the Google Play Store, depending on the nature of your device. Downloading is free, listening is free, whenever, wherever. We thank those who have logged on to the Cleaners website, go-jamaica.com. Subscribers to onespotmedia.com also have access to both sides of the story in particular and Power 106 FM in general. There are two designated numbers you can dial to listen to Power 106 FM, one from the United States and the other from the United Kingdom. Those of you in the US who wish to dial a number to listen to Power 106 FM can call 631-359-8281, 631-359-8281. And if you're in the United Kingdom and you wish to dial a number to listen to Power 106 FM, your number is 0330-606-0953. That's 0330-606-0953. We're streaming live video on the Dervan Malcolm Facebook page. If you're not there yet, log on to Facebook. In the search box atop the page, type DERVAN MALCOLM, and you too will be able to not just hear, but see what's happening in the studios of Power 106 FM. If you don't have a Facebook account, no sweat. There's always YouTube. We are streaming live video on the Dervan Malcolm YouTube channel. I wonder where we are these days in terms of the numbers. We've been trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. And let's see, where are we right now in terms of subscribers to the Dervan Malcolm YouTube channel? We're at 939. 939. We encourage you to like the channel, to subscribe to the channel. A subscription just means endorsing the channel. That's it. an endorsement of the channel. That's what it is. And so we look forward to your subscription, your endorsement of the channel as time goes on. We're at 9:39. Let's see what happens going forward. In the meantime, we are anxious to hear from you, and we're taking your calls as usual on 876-922-4112, 876-922-4113, 876-922-4114, and 876-922-4115. The text line is the same as the WhatsApp number, which means you can send us your text messages, your WhatsApp messages, your voice notes, and you can call us directly on WhatsApp. That's 876 365 3346. 876 365 3346. And that number can be used as a straight line as well. A straight line to us on this side of the glass, as I like to say. And so we are ready for you. Looking forward to your full participation. Hello to Allison A. Johnson. Greetings to you too, and Jacqueline Simmons. Good to have you on board. Thank you very much for joining us here on both sides of the story, Power 106 FM. Let's do what we started this afternoon with that timeless piece from A Tale of Two Cities by Charles Dickens. It was the best of times. It was the worst of times. Took me a while and it happens from time to time, to arrive at an appropriate poem and a matching theme song. More often than not, it's fueled by inspiration. So I was listening to Simon Crosskill and all the election campaigners, so to speak, people calling to say what their side did and didn't do, and the other side didn't do, and all of that. And it was just the same thing, caller after caller. Every caller, you would think they each get paid to put forward the position of their respective parties, because they were really espousing the virtues of what was done or not done. And I thought to myself, that's it. Because on the one hand, you have some people saying the country is in the worst state, the economy is in the worst state right now, and there are some people who have been predicting that we're going to have riots in this country, and for whatever reason, there are people who are looking forward to those. And there are those who are saying, hey, look at the country, everything is fine and dandy, and everything is all right. There's nothing to be worried about or to be concerned about, and so on and so forth. So you had people talking essentially of the best of times and the worst of times. So it really is a reminder that each individual's experience is different. What's his name? James Baldwin once said, "Take no one's word for anything, including mine, but trust your experience." Take no one's word for anything, including mine, but trust your experience. So you can only speak to your experience. So there are people in this country who they are enjoying, they're basking in the best of times. When you speak with people on the ground, yes, there's a lot of people who we regard as poor people and we call poor people. A lot of them are benefiting positively from all that's been happening, COVID-19 and all. When you speak with the business people, their profits are going through the roof. And people will say part of that has to do with the increase in prices due to supply chain issues and the global commodity prices, oil prices, etc. But people in all of that And of course, we have a high crime rate. And in all of that, people have been having the best of times. Some people have been having the best of times, but we should never lose sight of the fact that there are those who are having the worst of times. They have lost loved ones, whether to COVID-19 or crime or otherwise. Their income has been eroded. They have exhausted whatever money they had on investment instruments and insurance, the investment portion of insurance policies, etc. All of that exhausted, and there are people who are struggling miserably, and so for them it is the worst of times. And we could go on. So there people can only speak to their experience. So there are people who call the talk shows and they're wondering, how come the place not burned down yet? How come nobody not say nothing? And I just some certain people alone a talk, right? And we not hear from the people them. But remember, this is not a homogeneous society. We are not all the same. We react and respond to stimuli differently. So your response to whatever the situation is, your response is going to be different from mine. And even if we have similar responses, we're going to express them differently. So let's just, and we respect the fact that people are free to be able to call and express themselves. And that is fine. But we also enjoy being able to stay from outside, meaning I wasn't hosting a program. I was just listening to the radio like everybody else and receiving it in a particular way. Yes. So that's really what it is. What I'm saying, in the final analysis, this is Jamaica. This is where we call home. And yes, we know there are a lot of people who are waiting to see if their filing has come through yet, because they're anxious to leave Jamaica, which is fine. They are free. Jamaica is not a prison. Jamaica is not a prison. People are free to come and go as they wish, insofar as they operate within the Constitution and the laws of Jamaica. That's just the way it is. And so it's a matter of perspective. It's a classic case of whether the glass is half full or half empty, etc., etc., etc. But what we've been saying since the onset of this pandemic, whatever the situation, whatever we can do as individuals to help, the song says, if I can help somebody as I pass along, then my living shall not be in vain. So let's reach out and touch. That's another song too. But let's, as we've been saying, let's help those who we can. Let's help those who we can. If we can make an adjustment to the salaries and the wages of team members, especially where the organization has not taken a beating, like some of the hotels and other such enterprises. If we can pay more, let's pay more. Let us recognize that inflation and all the other elements that are at work are going to and have been dictating how much we can afford to spend. And so those of us who can ease the burden by tacking on a little extra on compensation packages, it would help, especially those who are at the lower end of the scale. One moment, please.
You're listening to Pearl 106 FM. The time is now
2:30.
Did you know that the flu can lead to hospitalization and even death? Pregnant women, persons 60 years and older, babies and children, and persons with a chronic illness such as diabetes, asthma, or heart disease are at a high risk for complications from the flu. Get the flu vaccine today. Visit your nearest health center and ask to be vaccinated. The flu is no joke. A message from the Ministry of Health and Wellness.
Are you an NWC customer with multiple properties? You can add account numbers for those properties to be serviced using a single login profile. Just go to nwcjamaica.com and visit the customer web access portal. Try it now.
Manage your waste and save. Learn more about various wastewater systems for farms and residential use, assistance in getting NEPA licenses, and monitoring and characterization of your wastewater. Tune in to Real Business this and every Tuesday at 10 a.m. for Manage Your Waste and Save. Brought to you by the Scientific Research Council Wastewater Management Services. Environmentally conscious, responsive, and solution-oriented. That's Manage Your Waste and Save. Listen to every Tuesday at 10 a.m. during Real Business, right here on Power 106 FM.
Love for him is gone. And the brother shrugs to his sister and says, looks like it's just us from now on. All we always need to hear both sides of the story. We need to hear both sides of the story. And the lights are all on.
Thanks a lot for staying with us here on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. The other thing we've been saying since the start of the pandemic, no Jamaican should be allowed to go hungry. No, not one single Jamaican should be allowed to go hungry. We have too much food in this country, and we waste too much food in this country for anybody to be going hungry. So please, whether we have to take the food to a nursing home, a children's home, or to some indigent person in a community, etc., nobody should be going hungry in Jamaica. Let us make sure of that. Those of us who are in a position so to do. And invariably, some of us only help people when we have it, meaning when we have it, as we say in Jamaica, wagga wagga. When we have a lot of it, that's the time we choose to give. But the most fulfilling kind of giving is the one where you yourself do not have it, or what you have is so small that it becomes problematic for you to choose whether to give it to somebody in need. And for those of us who are able to do that, then, as my maternal grandmother would say, may your food basket never be empty. That's what the situation calls for. It's no use moaning and moping, and it's like, oh, the world is coming to an end. I keep remembering that conversation that Wilmot Perkins had, the late Wilmot Perkins had with the late Oliver Clark, when Oliver Clark was the president of the private sector organization of Jamaica. And Mr. Perkins said to Oliver Clark, Mr. Clark, don't you see that we are in a crisis? And Oliver Clark, in his own inimitable style, calmly said, Mutty, as long as we have been in this country, Jamaica has always been in a crisis. In other words, the death of Jamaica has been predicted so many times. People have to understand that people die. Countries do not die. People die. Countries do not die. And yes, there are those who will say, hold on there now. What about, well, it wouldn't apply in this case, but you're free to explore it. But seriously, every time we go through a period of austerity or general hardships from as far back as 1865, that's what led to the Morant Bay Rebellion. Times were hard. The economic situation wasn't adding up, especially in favor of the people. And the people felt unrepresented. And so the people started to advocate and agitate. And then we had the Morant Bay Rebellion. Right? So we've always had, and tragically, people were killed. A lot of people were killed in that rebellion. The thinking in 2022 Jamaica is that by all means, peacefully protest. And there are some people, it doesn't suit some people to protest peacefully because they want an environment that is chaotic so that they can capitalize on the chaotic environment, including looting and all the other things that come with that. So the thinking in 2022 is that surely we can find ways of prevailing upon the decision makers when it comes to issues of national interest. And as bad as we think we are as a people and as a country where these things are concerned, we have more than enough evidence that our people, I'm repeating, I know, our people are capable enough to cause their voice to be heard. Our people are not stupid. So people like Portmore, the caller by the name of Portmore, who likes to curse our people and say our people are damn idiot. He loves that term damn. And sometimes we have to push the button on Portmore because he says some things not recognizing that he is on radio, which is accessible to everybody. So, well, he will tell you he's free to curse whoever he wants to curse. But he doesn't recognize that he's cursing himself as well. I don't think he recognizes that. Because anything that affects one Jamaican affects all Jamaicans one way or another. One way or another. So I'm not going to engage in the business of cursing Jamaicans because in my short time on this earth, have seen enough, more than enough, to be convinced. As much as we joke about it in other circles, we have seen more than enough to be convinced. We have seen and experienced and read and heard more than enough to be convinced that Jamaica, wait for it, Jamaica is indeed a real place. A real place with real people who know that they have power in their hands. Nobody needs to tell them. But our people have a way of exercising that power whenever they feel like exercising that power. So you might not be hearing them and feeling them at a particular time, and you curse them. Me no business because I them vote for this government. I'm in a business with whatever. And I'm saying that our people know exactly when to speak and when to act, and how to speak and how to act. Again, I'm able to say this because of the short time that I have spent the short time, my short time, in my short time on this earth and in this country, I have experienced, I have seen, I have heard, and I have read more than enough to be convinced that our people act whenever they feel like acting. Our people speak whenever they feel like speaking. And don't take our people to be some little riffraff, whatever. I have had the privilege of growing up with people and being engaged in discussions and conversations with people from all strata, every strata of life you can think of. And I have never been more convinced. Never been more convinced. So what will happen tomorrow? Well, when did we ever know what's going to happen tomorrow? Think about it. Do we know what's going to happen the next second, the next minute, the next hour, the next day, the next week, the next? Absolutely none. Absolutely not. So there is nothing new about operating in an environment of uncertainty. Life in and of itself is an uncertainty. Here today, and the expression used to say, here today, gone tomorrow. Well, some people have changed that now. Here today, gone later. There are no guarantees in this life. We enter into arrangements, commercial or personal arrangements. They don't have to last. It's just the nature of life. Right? And therefore, let us learn from all that's happening around us, the good, the bad, and indifferent. Let us learn from it. Let us learn from it. By all means, debate it if you must about this party who did what and didn't do what, etc. But in the final analysis, recognize that life will go on even without us. With or without us, life will go on. I think I've talked more than enough. I've said more than enough. Let's go to your calls. 876-922-4112-5. Good afternoon. Thanks for calling. Hello. I'm sorry, I talked too much. Somebody got tired of holding. All right. 876-922-4112. 876-922-4113. 876-922-4114. And 876-922-4115. Text line, same as the WhatsApp number. And we look forward to receiving your WhatsApp messages, your text messages, your voice notes, and you can call us on WhatsApp as well. And of course, post your messages online on Facebook Live or YouTube. For those of you wondering, we started a new stream. So you should be seeing the new stream now. But on the old stream, there are a couple of leftover messages on the old stream from, I think we might have read those already. But I see Natalie, as usual, has a lot to say on YouTube. Where do we start? She says, hi, Dervan, good afternoon. Where are profits from business operations? I certainly have not seen a cent. We're not asking you a question, Natalie. We're telling you what is. It's not a question. We're telling you what is. She says, good afternoon. There definitely will be an inquiry in COVID-19 operations, both in the public and private sector companies, and heads will roll like everywhere else. I doubt that very strongly, Natalie Winter. They unless you can provide, or any state agency with prosecutorial powers can provide the evidence of such. Let's see. She says Jamaicans are free to go let's get ready for the break. Let's read the rest of the messages after the break.
Whoa. He says, would you respect me?
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
2:45.
Remember positive.
Tune in every Thursday at 11:30 a.m. to midday for your legal corner with Dahlia Walker Huntington during Power Talk on Power 106 FM. You can call our numbers 876-922-4112-5. The text and WhatsApp line is 876-279-8598. You can also send an email at yourlegalcorner106@gmail.com. Join Your Legal Corner for all matters in relation to immigration to the United States. Here, Dahlia offer great legal advice on your immigration queries and concerns. Learn about the filing process, when to file, and how to prepare for the move. That's Your Legal Corner, 11:30 to midday, every Thursday right here on Power 106 FM.
Thanks a lot for staying with us here on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. We are about to conclude reading some of Natalie Winter's messages. So she says, Jamaicans are free to go anywhere, but it seems Jamaica has become a police state. Do we know what a police state is, Natalie Winter? What is a police state? A police state is described as a totalitarian state controlled by a political police force that secretly supervises the citizens' activities. Is that happening to you yet, Natalie? A totalitarian state controlled by a political police force that secretly supervises the citizens' activities. Well, naturally, there are those for surveillance purposes that they will have to secretly supervise activities, in which case they can't just do it. It depends on the nature and the scope. They will need to go to a judge to get permission whether to tap a particular the particular instrument or line of a particular individual who might be on the radar as being someone who is up to no good. And that too is relative, but the evidence will tell us, right? So Natalie, that's what a police state is. Are you still holding to your position, Natalie? All right, let's read her next message. She says, Perkins and Oliver Clark were before their time, people living in hell because people thief them, and corruption over the years, and chicken coming home to roost. When have the chickens never come home to roost? It's one of those expressions that we use time and time again. People must pay for the corruption of the past, no matter the political parties. Well, whatever the laws of our country dictate, by all means, let's enforce the law. Perkins was seriously before his time, she says, but time late, some of us. Something is not right there, Natalie. I maybe want to fix that part of the message so we can understand what you're saying. But thank you very much for your messages. Ricardo in Glengorf, St. Catherine, good afternoon to you as well. Thank you very much. Norman Hines in St. Thomas, it's good to have you on board. Welcome, Jamaica land we love, says Norman Hines. Delva Baker says, good afternoon, Mr. Malcolm. To you too, Delva Baker. You can certainly educate us, says Delva Baker. You're very kind. All we ever look to do is to share. We learn some things. Keep reminding myself of my mother. As soon as I learned something, she was the first to know. As always telling her about this and that and whatever. And that hasn't changed. I just love to share whatever little I know and at the same time learn from others. Velta Wilson says, good afternoon, Mr. Malcolm and fellow listeners. It's a beautiful day. Enjoy every moment of your day. Thank you very much, Velta Wilson in St. Thomas, for your message on Facebook Live. Thank you very much. All right, let's take a quick look at what's been doing the rounds in terms of the news. U.S. bird flu case puts chicken, turkey farms on high alert. Oh, this is serious. This is serious. U.S. bird flu case, so one case of bird flu in the U.S. Could possibly put chicken and turkey, well, they have already put chicken and turkey farms on high alert. And this is coming from a place with a French name in the U.S. It's spelled D-E-S, one word, M-O-I-N-E-S. So because it's French, if you're going to pronounce it the French way, you would say Des Moines. Des Moines. The Americans just say Des Moines. Des Moines. But they don't say, interestingly enough, they don't say Des Moines. They don't say that. Although they're Americans, and Americans usually just pronounce words and names and generally express themselves in an American way. But this is where the story is coming from. Des Moines, Iowa. Farms that raise turkeys and chickens for meat and eggs are on high alert and taking steps to increase biosecurity, fearing a repeat of a widespread bird flu outbreak in 2015 that killed 50 million birds across 15 states and cost the federal government of the United States of America nearly $1 billion. The new fear is driven by the discovery announced on February 9 of the virus infecting a commercial turkey flock in Indiana. The 29,000 turkeys in the flock were killed to prevent the they were killed to prevent the spread of the virus. I was going to say what a tragedy, and on the face of it, it is, but they were going to be killed anyway for food, as we kill chicken every day for food. Indiana officials said today a second flock of 26,473 turkeys near the first infected farm is suspected to have the same virus. Testing is now underway to confirm. And remember as well that one of our major poultry companies has an operation in the US, a major operation in the US. I'm just saying, for those who think this doesn't relate or this won't have implications, but it will. It will, and it's the last thing the world needs right now. The last thing we need right now is this kind of situation. Just seeing this news that former radio talk show host Winston Babatunde Witter has died. Yeah, that's the story. Former radio talk show host Winston Babatunde Witter has died. He was 62 years old. Witter died today at the University Hospital of the West Indies, where he was admitted on Sunday. He was taken to the hospital after he was found unconscious at his home. The popular radio personality, whose career spanned several years at KLAS-FM 89, was ailing from cirrhosis of the liver, as confirmed by a close friend. Cirrhosis of the liver. And our condolences to the family, friends, colleagues, neighbors, fans of the late Winston Babatunde Witter. And an opportunity to take a look at this thing called cirrhosis of the liver. Cirrhosis is spelled Cirrhosis. Cirrhosis. Cirrhosis of the liver. It's a condition in which your liver is scarred and permanently damaged. Oh dear. Scar tissue replaces healthy liver tissue and prevents your liver from working normally. As cirrhosis gets worse, your liver begins to fail. So that's what it is, cirrhosis. And again, condolences to the family, friends, colleagues, neighbors, fans of the late Winston Babatunde Witter. We will look at a couple of the other stories that are trending right now in a moment. But first, let's go to the phone lines once again, 876-922-4112-5. Good afternoon. Thanks for calling.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. You're doing the rounds today, man.
Oh, you heard me earlier?
I monitor talk shows every day.
Yeah, man, it's good when you monitor, because when you monitor, you're abreast of situation as to precisely what is the mode of thinking out here from certain quarters.
Except that we don't always make that obvious. Sometimes we sit here quietly and listen to people say what we already heard them saying.
Well, every time I listen and I don't participate, you know.
Yes.
Anyhow, sorry to hear about the death of Mr. Winston Witter.
Yes.
A very controversial journalist over the year, which was not afraid of speaking his mind. But they say you must speak bad things about the dead.
And you shouldn't.
That's true. I'm not going to say anything bad. I'm just really going to give you a joke.
Oh, well, let's listen keenly to ensure that this joke is above board.
Yeah, man. Some time ago, Mr. Witter came to my district to have a political meeting with Mrs. Simpson Miller. And I was in close proximity in our vehicle watching them and listening to them. So when Mr. Witter went up to the platform, Mr. Witter said, "I am Dr. Winston Witter." So, you know what they come in the audience? "We shall speak on your practice." So we shall get next area and he take up him document, half the lecture and disappear.
I'm sorry. That one missed us.
You see that anything bad I said, though?
Yeah, well, we're still trying to figure out what you just said. But anyway, don't go back over it. Let's move on.
All right. Next thing. Your friend here, the lady from, I think, Portmore, that called you regularly.
Miss Olive?
Yeah, man, Miss Smith. Last week she called you and she was telling you about Workers' Bank. That she was working there and telling you about Dr. Paul Chen Young, who was the managing director. Well, it is a fact that Dr. Paul Chen Young was the managing director of the Workers' Bank. But she was telling you that Mr. Chen Young gave a loan to his friends. Nothing could be further from the truth. And you are with the leader.
No, she said that he gave loans to his friends.
Yeah, man, loans.
I don't remember hearing that.
Yeah, that loans they were given to friends of certain people.
No,
so
I don't remember.
What I want you to do and to tell the country, if I know that you are connected to the Gleaner there and you peruse the archive
My subscription is up. I need to renew my subscription, so it's not free. One moment, please.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
3 o'clock. Tune in every Thursday at 11:30 a.m. to midday for your legal corner.
Well, that's what I asked yesterday. That's what I asked yesterday. Yes, man. Yeah. Usually when you see it like this, yeah, yeah. But it wouldn't be. I don't think it would be in the anywhere necessarily in the present. Maybe. Yeah. Yeah. It's what they call the air war. AIR. Yes.
How to file and how to prepare for the move. That's your legal corner. 11:30 to midday every Thursday, right here on Power.
Oh yes, yes, yes. He was somewhere in hibernation. Yeah. Oh yes, he's. Oh boy. Oh no, he died years ago. Yes, as he's from Harborview. Yeah, he died years ago. Mhm. Thanks a lot for staying with us here on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. Still taking your calls on 876-922-4112, 876-922-4113, 876-922-4114, and 876-922-4115. The text line is the same as the WhatsApp number, 876-365-3346, 876-365-3346. Let's continue. Are you still there?
Yes, Mr. Malcolm. All right, as I was saying at that time, there was a series of articles in the Gleaner about the Workers' Bank, the Workers' Bank 1, 2, 3, 14, etc. That was when you had journalists like Petras, the late Professor Carl Stone, man on the move, a man named John Carr, who does the Thompson themselves, a man on the move will soon be on the move. You should check your records at that time. You'll get a better idea to precisely what was taking place at the Workers' Bank at that time, where loans were given to political cronies of the PNP with no collateral. Yeah.
Well, the Workers' Bank is no longer in existence. So what you're telling us now is neither here nor there, quite frankly. Because even if you're trying to make a political point, it's. I don't know about that. Yeah. Yeah, but how does that affect the price of oil?
No, well, at that time we never seen the pangs of oil where oil price increase is concerned. Because you know that nothing remains stationary.
So
everything is subjected to change, especially politics and life.
Exactly, and that's where I want to go now, because I'm wondering what has changed or what is likely to change going forward, because we've been hearing you with a greater level of frequency these days, and usually when that starts to happen, there is some kind of political happenings to come, or somewhere on the horizon. So I'm just curious, and also the fact that the fact that not only you're not the only one, there are others who we haven't heard in a little while who have come back out now, and one wonders if something is in the making, election-wise.
Well, more than likely. But remember, yesterday I tell you about the duration of time it takes to call elections prior to now. And the postponement that I was not in agreement. But the role of an opposition is to be prepared at all times. And the role of government is to seek the most opportune time to fly the gate.
Well, in your opinion, but naturally, whoever has the power will use the power accordingly. And as long as that is not, hold on one moment. I see Miss Olive calling us right now. Maybe now would be a good time for her. I'm sure she's calling in reference to what you said earlier on about Workers' Bank. So let's hear from Miss Olive. Miss Olive, good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon, Dervan.
Good afternoon.
I never said I worked with Workers' Bank. I was working with the government savings bank on Tower Street, and when the Workers' Bank decided to take over government savings bank, the assets of government savings bank, I sat with my now deceased ex-husband, and we discussed who is going to stay and who is going to go. And I decided to stay in the government service. And I went to the Ministry of Mining and Energy, and he stayed with Workers' Bank. And the Paul Ching and his board members or whoever chose who is to stay and who is to go. I never worked with Workers' Bank, never, ever. And a lot of the people who worked with Workers' Bank is not getting anything like any money at all. All the years I've worked there, they're not getting a dime. God bless NIS, or else they wouldn't get anything. And I'm speaking from people who I know, who talk about it all the while. I say they're not getting any pension from Workers' Bank. Paul Shin Young, after he left Workers' Bank, he and the Spence brothers were two who were with him, and I remember the others. But there's a group of them, and one of the Spence brothers started a fish business. And I'm not talking about anything that anybody tell me, but people like to swing things their way politically. I am not into this foolishness. I talk if I don't know, I shut my mouth. So, mister, open your ears next time and don't say I work with the bank. I never did. Thank you, Dervan.
Thanks for the call.
Okay.
Take care.
Okay.
All right.
So there's a response from Miss Olive.
Yeah, man, thank God for that and for the clarification. But it gives substance to my argument in terms of she is saying that...
You still can't let it go, you have to... You're still holding on.
No compensation whatsoever. Because the bank was run down in terms of cronyism.
Yeah, all right, can we move on though? Because that's not taking us anywhere.
All right, we run on, but that is for the history and it can be checked out and it will be verified. But I work on certain among some of the players.
Yeah, that wouldn't be necessary right now.
No, because they're not around to defend themselves. But
you recognize that?
What
good.
I'm saying is the truth, you know. And the record is there. That's why I tell you to check the be in the archive. And the information will be there as to who are the beneficiaries of those loans without collateral. 1974.
All right.
Anyhow, you have a good day.
You too. Take care. This is your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. Still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com. Live on your smart devices all over the world. Taking your calls on 876-922-4112-5. 876-922-4112-5. Text line, same as the WhatsApp number, which means you can not only send us your text messages, your WhatsApp messages, your voice notes, but you can call us on WhatsApp as well. And that number is 876-365-3346. 876-365-3346. We did promise to share with you a couple of the other stories that are trending. Mental health alarm Juveniles in Crisis as System Cracks. And the story is by the award-winning Damian Mitchell, integration editor. He says the Department of Correctional Services, DCS, has detailed a broken rehabilitation and reintegration system at juvenile facilities, revealing that the greatest for its children is in mental health. With a population of 190 to 200 juveniles remanded across 4 institutions for crimes or detained for uncontrollable behavior, there are only 2 full-time psychologists, 2 engaged on a sessional basis, and 2 sessional psychiatrists. They must provide counseling, prepare reports for the children's courts, and deal with children who present with mental illnesses, including bipolar disorder, sleeping disorder, depression, and suicidal thoughts. Some have attempted to harm themselves and others. Most are subject to some form of sexual, physical, or verbal abuse prior to admission, a Department of Correctional Services spokesperson said in a report presented to Parliament's Human Resource and Development Committee this morning. The Department of Correctional Services said to compound the problem, many of the child perpetrators are also victims of crimes, experienced the loss of loved ones, or witnessed murders. At the same time, it is grappling with a rehabilitation and reintegration program that has almost ground to a halt. The academic program is usually administered by civilian staff. It said between 2018 and 2019 alone, 16 teachers resigned, and of the 48 teaching posts, 30 are vacant. The other 18 are filled. Among those who remain, the DCS said there is limited or no supervision to ensure that there are lesson plans, timetables, and the maintenance of attendance registers in accordance with the standards of the Education Ministry. And the story goes on. And so clearly, the situation needs to be addressed. We spent some time at the invitation of the operators of one of these juvenile centers. We spent some time there rapping with the, I did some emceeing duties for a function they were having. And the young men, this is a facility for young men. And on the face of it, just interacting with them and watching as they delivered their respective pieces in terms of entertainment, you could never imagine that these boys were involved in anything bad on the face of it. On the face of it. But what they demonstrated was the ability and the capacity to function like normal boys, and how they adapt and adopt in that kind of setting. But I also felt a great sense of hope that with the appropriate remedies, these boys can indeed become, maybe not all of them, we live in a real world and things can happen or not happen for whatever reason. But for the most part, one gets the sense that with the appropriate tools and mechanisms and conducive environment, we can make these boys into men of integrity, notwithstanding where they're coming from. And so we have to be careful how we write off the youth. We have to be careful Hope springs eternal in the human breast. More in a moment.
Knowledge is power. Class is in session, Power 106. You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
3:15.
Jesus, oh Jesus, oh how I love to call your name.
Tune in to Power 106 FM for the longest running religious calling program on Jamaican radio, The Prayer Line. Join Pastor Errol Hay and his team as they offer spiritual guidance and intercession grounded in biblical doctrine. Hear powerful testimonies from Jamaica and around the world. The Prayer Line, a source of support and inspiration in these trying times. That's The Prayer Line on Power 106 FM, Sundays at 6:30 p.m. Join us.
You shall live, declare the works of the Lord. Amen. You shall be a living testimony. You're on the Lord's side.
Find yourself in the gutter in our long.
Thanks a lot for staying with us here on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM, still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com, live on your smart devices all over the world, taking your calls on 876-922-4112 to 5, 876-922-4112 to 5. The text line is the same as the WhatsApp number, which means you can not only send us your text messages, your WhatsApp messages, your voice notes, but you can also call us via WhatsApp. That number is 876-365-3346. 876-365-3346. Let's clear some messages, and then perhaps we can share with you some more of the trending stories, and also share with you some history as well. Alton, who is this now? This is the Talibod. Good afternoon, Talibod. Thank you very much for joining us. I believe Talibod is in Manchester, Mandeville to be more precise. Carol in Calgary, Alberta, Canada says, good afternoon, Dervan and listeners. To you too, Carol, and to all the Jamaicans and friends of Jamaica in Calgary, Alberta, Canada. Sharon Richards says, good afternoon, Sir Malcolm. Happy Wednesday to you too, Sharon Richards. Ready for class, hoping to learn much today. Sunny day in Savlamar, says Sharon Richards. Stay cool in those sunny conditions, warm conditions, Sharon Richards. Thank you very much for your message. Some more messages here now. Unplug and Unwind says, good afternoon, Mr. Malcolm. How are you? I'm giving thanks for life. And you? Ras Asta Black says, hi, Mr. Malcolm. Banana is the total food. Nutritional values in abundance. Plant more bananas. Sounds like Ras Asta Black, I beg your pardon, is now into farming. No longer looking to enter representational politics. Has he retired? He has participated in, I think he would have a record. Somebody should check that if he has the record for participating in the most number of elections, whatever the outcome. Yes. Good afternoon, Ras Asta Black. Do you have that record? Do you have that information? How many times have you gone to the polls? You can share with us. Thank you. Independent Mind. I know my mic is on. Thank you very much. And that's why you can't tell exactly what I was talking about, because I know that. But that's the only way. Remember, we were always having problems getting you on YouTube and elsewhere to hear the audio on the device, coming out of the device that you're connected to. Well, the solution to that is that my mic, technically speaking, not the on-air mic, so whatever you're talking about, you're hearing, that is not going on. That's not going out on air in the commercial breaks. When I talk during the commercial breaks, that doesn't go on air. That's all off air. But it's just the way the system is set up. And so if we were to turn off the mic, so to speak, then you are the same ones who are going to say, we can't hear, we're not hearing anything. So because we want you to hear what is happening, what we're using is a laptop. And so we position a couple of headphones strategically, and they feed the laptop with audio. And so that is what you hear. But from the early days of from we entered media, we were always, our level of awareness and consciousness was peaked, and we recognized from very early that we have to be careful what we say. So because who I am and what I say, both on air and off air, amounts to pretty much the same, you don't have to worry. I don't use certain words, as I've said before on this program. Never in my life have I had to use any of those colorful Jamaican curse words. Never, ever. Ask anybody. Never had to use them. So I'm not going to start now. And right, so we have a way of talking, and you hear us talking during the commercial breaks, but that is not going on air, first of all. And secondly, outside of something that is private and confidential, that we have to guard jealously, or we should guard jealously, you're not going to, so you're first of all not going to hear that. It goes without saying, you're not going to hear any of that. Outside of that, whatever else we say, whatever we say on air, we can say it off air. Whatever we say off air, we can say on air. Right? All right. Thank you very much, Independent Mind. He or she says, okay, thanks. And thank you very much. Take care. And Natalie Winter says, condolences to the family of Winston Witter. Legacy will always be with us. Walk good, she says. Indeed, for those who missed it, we join Natalie Winter in conveying condolences to the family, friends, colleagues, neighbors, well-wishers, fans of the late Winston Babatunde Witter. Clearing some more messages now. Oh dear, we keep forgetting our friends on WhatsApp. Sorry about that. Let's bring in our friends on WhatsApp, our listeners on WhatsApp right now. Let's go through the messages, and they are many. They are numerous. All right, let's separate some of these now that don't relate. Thank you, Calvin in North York, Ontario, Canada, for sharing this link with us. We haven't been able to check it out, but at the earliest opportunity, we will. This one says, good day, Dervan. Corruption and criminality is entrenched in the fabric of this society. We need to tackle them with urgency. Giving a firearm license to a criminal, are we for real? I'm sure many law-abiding Jamaicans have been denied a firearm license. Law abides, we need to stand up and demand change from the people we elect to represent us. Well, this is the thing. We have a thing in Jamaica called links. And people will talk about me linky them. Right, links. And what that, fundamentally speaking, to borrow that oft repeated word of former Prime Minister Michael Manley, fundamentally speaking, seriously though, fundamentally speaking, when it comes on to I like to choose my words carefully. So responding to your message. So we have this mindset of links and linkages, and the fundamental part of the situation, or why it is the way it is. On the face of it, this is a small country, right? We like to say that it's the biggest little country in the world, and that's just the truth, right? You just Google Jamaica and you understand what we're talking about. And so it's a small country, and what that presents is a situation where it's not too far-fetched for the so-called average person to be connected to someone who is in a decision-making position. It's people, we grow up in the same district. We know the family on both sides in that district. They managed to attend one of our high schools, public high schools in Jamaica. They become successful, and so they went to school together. So for example, we will notice in the politics of Jamaica over the years that certain individuals were put in certain positions or were asked to serve in certain positions. And when you drill down to it, you can find different reasons. They grew up, they're from the same district. They attended the same school. So when you check the list of advisors or board members, you are likely to find that connection. And because of that, especially if there are those of us who think we're acting innocently, we think we're acting innocently. We say, oh, because our thing in Jamaica, for a lot of us, part of the culture, is that you help out a man, you give a man a blight, or you do somebody a favor because he's your friend or is your family member. So there is that culture. And then when you do it for the person, we have a thing in Jamaica. We believe that encouragement sweetens labor. So we're going to send you a thing. We're going to leave a thing for you. Yeah, me left a thing for you here. Yeah, man. And on the face of it, our people don't see that as, some of us don't see that as corruption, because no, help me help out the brother in a star, and the man and say, no, but there's an ethical component that we can't lose sight of. And those of us who are asked to serve in certain capacities must declare ourselves. We must declare ourselves, declare our position. We must make it clear. Whatever we have in the closet, or so to speak, or if there's anything that would preclude us from taking the position, don't go ahead knowingly. Don't go ahead and accept the position knowingly. And there are instances where there can be exceptions depending on the situation. Like once it is declared, the individual has to recuse himself or herself. In other words, as we say in Jamaican parlance, take away yourself from deliberations which might involve you or your interest. that kind of thing. It doesn't always happen. It doesn't always happen. And so that leads to a situation where people just help out them brethren or them sistren and just know say that is that. Or people try to push up them picnic, right? Cause if them other picnic I go get tablet, warm to my picnic, na smarty too. And you, even if you are the person given the authority to distribute the items to particular students, not to your children, but you're gonna hide off one of them because, after all, me no Holly button, so to speak. And of course, we're gonna come back to the expression "Pass and Christine picnic first." One moment.
Importers, provide proper invoices for customs when presenting goods for examination. This could prevent delays during clearance. The time by the Jamaica Customs Agency is 3:30.
The month of February will be blazing with a celebration of reggae. Tune in as Full Frequency amps things up weekly with rock steady, lovers rock, 90s reggae and dancehall, 2000s millennium music, and an official salute to the women of reggae. So celebrate your Jamaican music, reggae and dancehall all month long on Full Frequency. Sponsored by Smirnoff Vodka, the world's #1 vodka. You must be 18 years or older to drink. Drink responsibly. By Grace Tropical Rhythms, join the rhythm, and by the Ministry of Culture, Gender, Entertainment, and Sport.
I'm not commenting on the promo at all, but reggae can stand on its own, you know. We don't, reggae doesn't need dancehall. Reggae by itself, reggae is so huge that it can stand on its own. We don't need, if we say it's reggae month and we're doing reggae, the repertoire is vast. We have more than enough material and more than, so maybe, anyway, just a thought. So to come back to the point, so there are those of us who believe, as the Jamaican expression goes, pass and christening picnic first. Now, how I originally understood pass and christening picnic first is that was something corrupt. That's how I initially received that. That's something corrupt. And there is a corrupt element to it. If you are supposed to be serving a group of people or a team of people or an organization, etc., and you see to your needs first, usually in an illegal way or in an underhanded way or in a corrupt manner, then that is the wrong side of pass and christening picnic first. But there are people who do that and have been doing that. Now, I have subsequently applied another perspective on pass and christening picnic first, which is that I use the analogy, I like to use the analogy of taking a flight, being on a plane, and the flight attendant says, in the event of an emergency, the mask will drop from the hatch, and put on your mask first before helping others. In other words, I have to make sure I'm in a position of strength first before I can help you. That's important. So if you are falling, if you are hanging on a tight rope or something like that, I have to position myself properly to assist you. So deal with that first. And there's a school of thought that says, but naturally, you have to deal with your family first. So you look out for your family and their needs. You dance a yard before you dance abroad. Another Jamaican expression. But seriously now, on the subject of corruption, there are many aspects of our culture here in Jamaica that breed corruption. It's just a fact. So, but we have come a long way. Yes, we're not there yet, but we have come a long way. There was a time in this country that nobody would question, or hardly anyone, not nobody, hardly anyone, just a few brave people, or in a manner of speaking, would question decisions that are made by political representatives or members of a government, etc. We used to just swallow hook, line, and sinker. There was a time in our history. There was such a time. Although there were always the outliers, those who would ensure that the state or whoever, whether the state or the political representative, would know that they know. Is it Muta Baruka who has a recording that says, "Me know where you up to, big man, me know where you up to. Me know where you up to, know where you up to, know where you up to." So you just want them to know that you know what they're up to. So there were those back then who would take that position. But in 2022, Jamaica, at 60, come on now, at 60, we have to shed a lot of these bad habits that we have as a people. Our country is now 60. That's retirement age, senior citizenship. At this stage in the life of our country, we cannot be regressing. We must be progressing, not regressing. Again, we don't have a perfect system, but show us a perfect system and we'll show you fake news. But we have to shed some of these bad habits. We have to understand that some of us, there are situations that call for us to be beyond reproach. So if a searchlight is shone on us, it must see that we are truthful, we are honest, we are transparent, and we're not engaged in any shenanigans. We're not engaged in any banduluism. Learned that word from my mother years ago, banduluism. And too many of us are shufflers. I learned that from my mother as well. Shufflers. In other words, we cleverly, in inverted commas, go around people and set one against the other, etc. That kind of thing. So there are aspects of, so that would lead to the situation with respect to the firearm licensing authority, the person who sent us this message. That's how we started, based on this message that was sent. So it's not unique to any one entity, because it's an embedded part of our culture. And that's what we have to break the back of as we observe 60 years of independence. Let's go to the phone lines. 876-922-4112 Good afternoon. Thanks for calling.
Could I please tell you, blow your can by your way to God?
Who is this?
Hello? Hello? This is someone from?
Yes. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you, sir. How are you today?
I'm giving thanks for life. And you?
Yes, Mr. Marco. I'm trying to cope, looking out for the rainbow.
Oh, you haven't seen them? Boy, I've seen so many rainbows up to this morning. I'm sorry I didn't have my camera with me at the time to take pictures, but I took some last week. Lots of rainbows right across the corporate area. I'm sorry you're not seeing anywhere you are.
No, I'm glad for that, because so hope is somewhere then. Our hope is coming.
But hope springs eternal in the human breast.
Yes.
Yes.
All right. What I call you about, this is Malcolm. I just want you to find out for me from the relevant people. Jamaica Public Service, I understand they don't inspect your building anymore. If you apply for a meter, you have to go to the private people, and they wanted 70 or 80,000 to just pass one room with one light and a plug, and you have to do a drawing.
Where you got that information from? Which one room was this? Your one room?
For instance, if I
No. Did this actually happen?
Well, I just hear me here, so right?
Yeah, but you see, that can't stand up in court, you know, Zimbabwe.
Well, I just said, they just want you to just find out from me, because if it is so, what JPS is doing is encouraging theft. Because I have a little storeroom, a 10 by 10 building, building up right now, and I want a bulb and a plug in there to charge my phone. And what I've heard is that you have to get a drawing done. But I said to the person, I don't think so, because when I was learning trade, I was doing like the TD, and the instructor said to me, so when you do that, it will help you, because actually you would have to do the drawing to show people what you can do. But he's telling me that this thing is the other way around, that you have to get a drawing done. So I don't understand. I just do not understand, Mr. Malcolm.
Hello? Hello? Lost you for a moment.
Yes, I would love you to check it for me, Mr. Malcolm.
Check it with the JPS.
Yes, to see if it is so.
So we no longer have the what's the name of that body?
Inspection from
that used to be around near Holy Childhood. They used to have a place around there that does that kind of thing. So that is no longer done.
No, I understand. It is privatized, and
right, but go and find and sign up. Whatever you need to do. If you need the service, just go ahead, and then you can come back and tell us how it went.
Well, I don't know where to start. I don't know where to go. If it is privatized, I haven't seen any advertisement on that. I haven't seen anything. This is why I was saying that I would love you to check it for me. I haven't seen anything. I just run right into it.
Let's see.
But that would be very detrimental to the country. A JPS would be encouraging theft.
We don't know about that, but let's see here. We still have the Government Electrical Inspectorate, from what I'm seeing here.
Well, something is dormant there. I don't know what is it, but they retire something.
Retire something is right, but what?
The inspections. I gather.
The Government Electrical Regulator is being established pursuant to the Electricity Act of 2015. The functions of the Government Electrical Regulator include the registration of electricians and licensing, and so on and so forth. Licensing, where's the rest of it? So it apparently still exists. So I don't know.
Good. I jump for joy for that. I would love.
Unless it's a case that the Ministry of Science, Energy, and Technology has not updated their website.
Well, I don't know, but from what I'm hearing, if it is so, I am into a bad shape, because where would I find 60?
No, but why close a door before opening one? In other words, why are you signing off on something that you have no information on?
Well, I'm not signing off, This is Jamaica, and when you hear something, so.
In your opinion?
Yes, man, Jamaica, I'm born and grow, yeah. So me kind of frightened, easy to be frightened.
Would you like a couple of numbers?
Yes, I would very grateful.
After the break, we'll give you a couple of phone numbers. Exactly. Exactly. Because we don't want to back down to say we are wrong.
Consumer Talks.
Exactly.
Educating and empowering
Exactly.
consumers towards a more vigilant and confident consumer-friendly Jamaica. Join us every second and last
Exactly.
Tuesday of each month at 9:35 on
Yeah,
Wednesdays.
yeah.
Listen and learn about your rights and responsibilities. Learn how the CAC
Absolutely.
works to empower consumers
Absolutely.
in Jamaica. Consumer Talks, brought to you by the Consumer Affairs Commission. Protecting your rights, securing our future.
Yeah. Oh boy. Here we go. Thanks a lot for staying with us here on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. Here are a couple of phone numbers, Zimbabwe. Are you ready? Zimbabwe? Maybe caught a flight to Zimbabwe. Not getting him now. All right. End of that story. End of that story. Let's go to another call. Hello, good afternoon. Thanks for calling.
Good afternoon, Sir Malcolm.
Good afternoon.
How are you?
Giving thanks for life. And you?
I am doing the same, giving thanks for life.
Good.
And as I heard the gentleman, you called Zimbabwe, called just last week in my community, I was listening to some electrical people, and they were confirming what you were saying, that there is no government electrical inspectorate anymore. It is now privatized. And the reason why this discussion took place was somebody actually had a house to be inspected, and they said they used to pay $15,000 and they're now paying anywhere from 50 and upwards. So it could be a fact. There's no more government things, it is now privatized.
So this that we're seeing at the Ministry of Science, Ministry of Science as existing. You're saying it doesn't exist?
You mean the government inspector thing? No, that doesn't exist anymore.
Well.
It is not privatized.
So that means the Ministry of Science, Energy and Technology needs to update its website then.
Right.
Because clearly here there's a section, full section, Government Electrical Regulator, and outlining this thing called the Government Electrical Regulator and you, and so on and so forth.
Okay. But somebody really find your hand before. Pass the prison first. And
what? Sorry, say that again.
Pastor.
Oh, Pastor Christine Pickney first. Yes.
You were giving some scenarios. Truth be told, Dervan, we live in a country and we are people who life of me, I don't know why we're like that. We can't say no to some things, especially to a friend or to a family member. And I also to friends, if you regard me as your friend, I think I'm your friend. And I can't tell you that you're wrong or that you're doing something wrong. I don't want to be your friend,
Yeah.
Because if your friend can't tell you that you're offline, you're moving in a direction that is not good. That person should never be a friend.
True.
But guess what? We live in a country where it seems as if from inception, and I don't know if I'm correct, everybody just thinks that it is a running country, so you have to just run in order to survive.
Yeah, that's another popular term that is used. The runnings are just the runnings, and you know how the runnings go. Yes.
That's the kind of country we live in, and it's really important. And educated people are in it. Rich people are in it.
Yeah. Everybody at every.
And you wonder, Jesus, when is it going to end?
Yes.
When is it going to end? And that's why so many things are in the country. And people are speaking up.
Yes.
And I've always wondered, why is it that in 1922, when I just left high school and started to work, only 20% of us, I was told then by the statisticians, could read and write well. And today, as I'm speaking, I am told that about 79 to 80% of us are reading much better and writing much better. So why are we seemingly more backward in 2022 than we were in 1972? What's the reason? I don't know, but I like little selfishness. We have grown as a to become a rich country, and we have got much more selfish.
And there is an expression, there's a term that says that has to do a little learning is a dangerous thing.
It's a dangerous thing. Exactly.
So there is that too.
Yeah, but it is just so unfortunate. I don't know. As a people, we need to wake up. We need to rise up. And we need to get beyond PNP, JP, IUC, whichever C, the politics, and just realize that the country is not doing well. You know, I was shocked when I learned that.
No, that depends on who you ask.
No. We're doing well in some areas. I was shocked when I learned that it was Monday morning that Jamaica is indebted by to the tune of $77 million more because of our foreign exchange regime, you know. Because of the dollar is moving up and down.
Yeah, the only thing with that.
We are indebted by $73 billion more.
Yes, and
March of last year.
And for as long as we have had deregulation in this country, that has been the case. Now, the reason why finance ministers have continued along this line from back then to now, it must be a function of some manual at the Bank of Jamaica, because they've all been doing it since deregulation. It's the same let the market decide plan that they've had from long before now. It's the same thing. Nothing has changed.
No, but guess what now? I'm probably using words now because probably 2 or 3 or 4 players who know get to foreign exchange and manipulate the system so badly that this is the result. You lose $73 billion, which you're indebted by $73 billion more March of last year to December of last year. Same country, so much poor people.
Yeah, well, that's not.
Is that food we eat? Is that clothes we wear? Is that water we drink? Is that light that we burn? It's just because of how the foreign exchange is playing, I don't know what up and down. And nobody sees, with all of the bright people who go to Harvard or Rhodes Scholars, nobody seems to be able to put a
maybe because you're focusing on the bright people. Maybe we're not paying enough attention to those who just want to get an understanding of what is happening or not happening. But then again, remember that our people, there's a large portion of our population that is so busy trying to earn a living that they only talk in bread and butter language.
True.
Right? And so they see this talk about exchange rate and so on. They are happy, those who receive money from family members overseas, because they are getting more money. They're getting, once they get the remittance, it's $3.5 billion US worth of remittances last year, you know. So there are Jamaicans right here who will not make any noise about that, because when they get the remittance money, it means more money for them. Why should they complain about that?
Exactly. Not knowing that it is preventing his or her child from getting a quality education, not knowing that it is preventing his or her child from getting a road.
But the same people will tell you that their children had been prevented from years ago and are still being prevented, with or without the sliding dollar.
Yeah, you're right.
In other words, there's a fundament. It speaks to management. The fundamental and management is not. It shouldn't be piece. It can't be piece of piece. It must, right. And so that we manage the affairs of the country in such a way that every single person on the rock can understand that this is connected to that and that is connected to this. And if you do this, this is what happens. Or if you fail to do that, that kind of thing. That is a kind of public education that is necessary, that is going to help our people to better process all that's happening around them.
And Dervan is a very reason why in our last generation, only 37% of the people voted. Because as you said,
and COVID would have played a part as well. As much as our numbers are going down.
Yes.
No, but I'm saying you can make your point if you must, but don't discount COVID.
Yeah, I'm not discounting COVID. Yeah, I know COVID at that point.
That's a factor. It's just a factor of life.
It's really sickening, man. Every time I think about it, from 72 to now, and 20% of our people could read that right. And now we're going to 80.
87%. No, I don't know about that, but it's a function of, could it be that we have become more selfish or self-centered, where me just look out for me and my family and me and my picnic them, or me and my significant other, etc. Could it be that people are spending so much time trying to make ends meet, trying to provide for their families, that they hardly have time to take in the affairs of the country, even though their status is inextricably linked with what happens or not happen with respect to the country.
Today I was in a meeting, I hear somebody ball out. Gas rates are paying by 3 to 4%.
But
$3 to $4. Diesel for you. And I just said, but I tell people when I stop eating that, because this is something that is always happening. I will always continue.
That's my point. That's my point.
No, serious, because you tell people that now your cars themselves start as pressure to go to those who have pressure issue and can't deal with it.
But I in Jamaica, in most instances, I doubt that. People know, because when you check the gas stations, people know when to buy gas. So some of our people a lot of us are getting smarter. So we know when to go to the gas station, for example. Because apart from the padded nature of the duties and the taxes that are on petrol, we have no control over the global prices. And right. So that's just a fact of life. So we must control what we can control. The words here on the cover of my journal, my favorite: God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and wisdom to know the difference. I mean, I think this is a most powerful piece, because there are those of us who need to get to the stage that there are some things we have absolutely no control over. So don't lose any sleep over that. But then we must recognize, especially those of us who are in positions to lead change, to be able to have the courage to change the things that we can. So there are a lot of us in positions where we could change a lot of things in this country that would make the lives of more of our people better.
Much better.
Yeah.
You know what I do? A good group, a good amount of us will say to you quickly. A long time ago, I know better now, trust me.
And you can't blame people for being that cynical. It's what they have lived. They have lived it.
True, but I never want to hear about who used to in the 20s, in the 40s, in the 30s, in the 50s, in the 60s and 70s. I want to hear what is possible to happen now. in 2022.
I agree with you. As much as we love the history and we share the history,
no problem
we,
using history.
we share the history on this program just to help people to make certain connections and also to have an appreciation for certain situations within our country. But not the past is not somewhere that we should live.
No.
We must visit and revisit from time to time. But who looks in that rear view mirror for the whole time while trying to drive a vehicle, as opposed to looking straight ahead?
Somebody, keep the faith, keep on doing what you're doing, and all the very best for the rest of.
Same to you and yours. Thanks for the call. Take care.
At Wellington Dental, they offer cleaning, filling, whitening, and other services for the entire family. The time by Wellington Dental is
4 o'clock.
The month of February will be blazing with a celebration of reggae. Tune in as Full Frequency amps things up weekly with rock steady, lovers rock, 90s reggae and dancehall, 2000s millennium music, and an official salute to the women of reggae. So celebrate pro Jamaican music, reggae and dancehall, all month long on Full Frequency. Sponsored by Smirnoff Vodka, the world's #1 vodka. You must be 18 years or older to drink. Drink responsibly. By Grace Tropical Rhythms, join the rhythm, and by the Ministry of Culture, Gender, Entertainment, and Sport.
¿Qué hora es en español? Son las 4:01. Quelle heure est-il en français? Les 4:01. 现在几点了？4点02分. A minute past 4 o'clock in the afternoon here at Broadcast House, 32 Lyndhurst Road, Kingston 5, St. Andrew, Jamaica. Have you had a checkup lately? If not, now is a good time. Let's not wait till we get sick to get a checkup. How about that? Checking in with more on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. James in East London continues to share with us stories coming out of his neck of the woods. There's one here that says COVID-19, all children aged 5 to 11 in UK will be offered coronavirus vaccine as England and Northern Ireland become latest nations to confirm plan. That's one of the stories James in East London has shared with us. And there's another one. Met launches Cash for Honors investigation into Prince Charles's charity. Uh-oh. What is this now? From the royal family. I wonder if they're going to allow members of the media to ask questions. When I wonder, because somebody will want to find out about these things and to get some kind of reaction from Prince Andrew, who paid off the individual who accused him of taking advantage of her when she was 17. Oh dear. Oh dear. Who's this now? Somebody has sent us a voice note. We'll good afternoon. It talked about like the takeover. All right, so this person apparently goes by the moniker Miss Pauline. I think that's what it is. All right, so this message is from Miss Pauline, but we have to listen to it off air to determine whether it can be played on air. Hopefully in the next break. Let's see if we can listen to it in the next break. And Moralist has shared with us a picture, or this is a video. It looks like yam. Looks like yam. Looks like she's farming yam. Not sure what kind of yam that is, but it looks like yam. Looks like yam. And let's see. Let's see who else is messaging us. This one says, good afternoon, Mr. Malcolm. How are you? I am giving thanks for life. And you? Thank you very much for your message on our WhatsApp line, 876 365 3346. Thank you very much for the message. Let's move on. What's happening here? Oh, let's go to the other messages. This one from Dr. Dunn in Skokie, Illinois. She says, good afternoon, Ambassador Malcolm. You're very kind, Dr. Dunn. She says, I hope that this message finds you doing well. I'm writing to inform you of a coffee company, Jamaican Fair Trade, that was started by my nephew. Oh, I wonder if, let me see, I'm not sure if Dr. Dunn wanted us to read this message on air, but at least, well, she didn't say do not, but we're going to just leave the message there. And the brand is Jamaican Fair Trade. So that is a brand, and therefore, and now we know of the connection, Dr. Dunn, and we will talk off air. But thank you very much for the message. We will act accordingly. This one says, well, the question sign, Dervan, where Paul Chen Young was he at Workers Bank at any time? I know it was Delroy Lindsay who was at Workers Bank. Paul Chen Young was at Eagle Merchant Bank. I'm Salah from Kingston. Salah, we dealt with that one already. And Miss Olive was the one who shared that information with us and told us of the fact that her husband worked at Workers Bank. And so she wasn't sharing second or third hand information. Salah, we dealt with this already from Miss Olive. Thanks for your message nonetheless. Horace, or is it Spider? Spider says, good afternoon, Mr. Malcolm. How can one book say that our Father who created us says that we must forgive 70 times 7? And in that same book, it says that Adam and Eve sin because they eat apple, and all of their offspring have also sinned because of what happened. And that sin will remain on mankind until the end of the world. So what about we must forgive 70 times 7? How can that explain away? Moving right along, what do we really know about the Anunnaki? What is that? Google the name. What comes up? I'm sorry, help us here, Spider. Something is not straight. See if you can check your message and make the necessary adjustments so we can understand the rest of it. With respect to your first part, the first part of your message, the Bible is understanding the Bible or reading the Bible is a function of who is reading it. And that's really what it boils down to, quite frankly. It's a function of how people interpret what they read. That's what it boils down to. Let's move on. Cuban in Georgia says, good afternoon, Mr. Malcolm. In the words of P.J. Patterson, police cannot investigate themselves. How can we get justice now on the FLA matter? Haven't we been told that more than 200 of the cases that have been cited as being questionable granting of licenses, that those are being dealt with, and some of those licenses have been revoked, and that a particular signature of a particular director appears on almost all those firearm license certificates. We have more than enough to run on. So let's get on with it and take whatever action that needs to be taken. Next part of Cuban in Georgia's message. Sir Malcolm, we must break the links in the system. That is a big part of our problem. No links. You go to tax office, there's a link there. We have to root it out from the foundation. Yes, indeed, it is embedded, and it's going to take some doing, rooting it out. But we can try. This one says, good afternoon, Uncle Dervan. I have a big problem. Please don't read over the air. Well, we'll stop right there. We won't go any further. And Moralist says, forgiveness does not mean you don't pay the penalty for disobedience, in reference to the message a while ago about 70 times 7. Thank you very much, Moralist, for your message. And let's just make sure we covered everybody for now. Now we're still seeing an unread message somewhere here. All right, we'll get back to that. In the meantime, let's go to the phone lines. Let's see what you have there, Davin, in terms of the time on that call, because I have one here on WhatsApp, 6 minutes, 10 seconds. So go to this one. All right, 6 minutes, 10 seconds. That's Dr. Williamson. Good afternoon, Dr. Williamson. Thank you very much for calling. Go ahead, please.
Greetings, Dervan. Greetings to your listeners. I want to especially hail up my colleagues in New York, Mr. Richard Walker and the Dulles Gaim. They're listening on YouTube. So, Doc, I'm sorry, Dervan, I do want to see if I could weigh in on a couple of things that have happened in recent times, and hopefully we'll get a little bit of time on these. I wanted to get a little bit of your feedback as well, because I mentioned yesterday in my message to your on your YouTube platform. By the way, congratulations! I see you're getting close to 1,000 listeners. I hope you.
You mean subscribers on YouTube?
Subscribers, yes, sorry, subscribers. Maybe then you monetize it after that. Now, the two things I wanted to talk about were the Disabilities Act that came into effect on Monday.
Valentine's Day, yes.
And this business of the Firearms License Authority, especially as relates to Chief Curry. But I'll deal with the first thing first. I think it's an applaudable thing that Jamaica is now joining the rest of the world, most of the rest of the world, and certainly the developed nations, in guaranteeing rights for our disabled persons. And I haven't interrogated it with any care yet. So I'm not sure if that's only physically disabled persons or also persons with mental disabilities.
No, it is what it says.
So it's for persons.
So irrespective of what form it comes, yes, it's all encompassing.
So this is a good move for Jamaica. And I share a little bit of a story in that respect. Because, for one, we really deny ourselves of the productivity of persons who are considered to be physically disabled if we don't create the kinds of access and facilitation that they need to do that. I saw recently a video of a young person, maybe not so young person, a man who I believe only had one limb, and he was shoveling some some cement, mixing cement. And you have able-bodied persons whom are choosing not to work and looking at, nefarious activities. So we want to make sure that we're not reducing the productivity of our population by neglecting facilitation for those people who are considered to be physically disabled. And in the case of mental disability, I hope that it is the beginning of a conversation in Jamaica around persons who are diagnosed with chronic mental illnesses that are considered to be disabled, let's say under the Americans with Disabilities Act definition. Because, in my own example, I was fired out from a job at the university after one day because the university felt that I was considered to be, I had a mental health diagnosis. Now, to be fair,
No, but only a doctor can make such a pronouncement.
Well, at university did that in this case. So it's a matter for that's still ongoing. But the point is, even if I did have a diagnosis for mental health disorder, as long as I did not represent a danger to myself or any other person, one could see that I could be a productive member of society in the community. In fact, I have a whole career of production and productivity. So it shows that Jamaica was not yet ready for in terms of how we treat disabled persons or persons who are considered to be disabled. And so
one moment, please. Please pick up the point after this break. How many more commercials?
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
4:15.
Under the Law helps you to know your rights and how the laws of Jamaica can help you defend those rights. We've been doing it for 15 years. That's right. Join us on Thursdays at 6:45 and 8:55 a.m. and at 4 and at 9:55 p.m. Compliments of the Jamaica Council for Persons with Disabilities. Educating, advocating, empowering. Under the Law, Thursdays on Power 106 FM.
Find myself in the gutter in our lonely part of town. Where did weeks in the darkness with a weapon to cut some stranger down? Sleeping with an empty bottle, he's a sad and an empty-hearted man.
Que hora es en español? Son las 4:16. Quelle heure est-il en français? Les 4:16. Hiện tại, T D N le 4 点0分. 16 minutes past 4 o'clock in the afternoon here at Broadcast House, 32 Lyndhurst Road, Kingston 5, St. Andrew, Jamaica. Have you done your homework yet? If not, now is a good time. Good afternoon to all the schoolers listening to us, all the students from the early childhood level to the secondary level. Trust you had a productive day of learning today. Hope you also managed to get in some physical activity, just as important as mental activity. As we always say, young people, socialization makes you educable, education makes you trainable, training makes you employable, and the right attitude makes you successful. Homework time, young people. Continuing our conversation with Dr. Renee Zazu Williamson.
Yes, Dervan, thank you. And sometimes when I get to the break, just to summarize my first point, I want to applaud the government and those involved in the legislation around the Disabilities Act of Jamaica 2022. And I think in particular, a mention has been made of Senator Floyd Morris, who was a champion of the legislation, is my understanding, and those who were, saw it through, so it became into law. Because now it provides protection for our citizens that have either physical or mental disabilities, and doesn't detract from the productivity that these persons can contribute to our society and our community. And perhaps now we can begin to start to change the culture around how we treat disabled persons. And, I have a particular interest in how we treat persons who are diagnosed with certain chronic mental illnesses that are considered to be mentally disabled. So I'm glad to see us moving, in this way in Jamaica. We're joining the community of nations that that think all other citizens are valuable. The second point around Chief Curry and this firearms license authority issue that is in the news recently. I think Mr. Myrie, Bujabanta, the artist, spoke about it, on social media recently, so it became quite viral. But the broad point I think that was made in that statement was that criminals have more access to guns and firearms than law-abiding citizens.
Well, Wilmot Perkins saw that and said it a long time ago, many years ago. Wilmot Perkins used to make the point that why was it so difficult for law-abiding citizens to mind you? First of all, let me make it clear. I apart from the weapons that are supposed to protect the people in terms of national security and other legal holdings of guns. I don't want anything to do with guns. I'm not a fan of guns at all. But just to go back, just to make the point, so that the question of whether Wilmot Perkins has been saying this. That's essentially what we've been saying. From years ago, he used to say a lot on the program how it is. Why is it so difficult for law-abiding citizens to get a gun license so that they can, and so it's a question. The point I'm making is it's we have been at this point for quite some time now in terms of people not getting a sense that or feeling that it's only one set of people of a certain class who are allowed to carry guns legally.
And to defend themselves and protect their lives and property.
Right.
So, the example of the couple in I think it's somewhere in western Jamaica.
Was it St. Elizabeth? The Chinese couple.
Correct. And they were murdered. Some weeks ago, after when they discovered that they had applied for license and rejected. Yes. Now, maybe we need to move to a Second Amendment type legislation in Jamaica like we have in the United States, because it may seem counterintuitive to folks like yourself who are not licensed gun holders and firearm holders that more guns in the hands of law-abiding citizens would actually provide for safer communities.
Sorry, I just to before you go on, just to be clear, you weren't saying that they applied and they were denied. That's not what you said, was it? No, we're getting information here from one of our producers that Shane Dalling made it clear that there's no evidence of that individual applying. I think the story might have said that there was some plan to apply for a gun. I think was it the son who said there was some plan to apply. I'm not sure. Even if they said that they applied, what we're hearing is that Shane Dalling himself has said there is no evidence of them applying.
So we can fact check that. It was reported in one of the journals that I read. I think it was the Jamaica Observer. I think it's paper. So, but we can always fact check that. The point is, we want to make sure that it is not just easy for the criminals to get guns, because, as we're going to say, it might seem counterintuitive to the other observer who is sort of afraid of guns and what it means, because they're killing instruments in some cases. In Texas, it used to be the wild, wild west, and the governor made a decision that everybody should have the gun.
And that's not going to happen in Jamaica.
we don't know, because we just.
In fact, there are those of us who wouldn't want to be living in such a Jamaica.
No, but the government is
especially with the kind of people we are, in terms of our propensity, it seems, for violence and the speed with which we respond violently. Oh, you are asking for a situation in which the whole population everybody would just kill each other.
You see, and I think that's what most people think. But that's counterintuitive. The data tells you something different. So go and look at the data of Texas. Texas is one of the safest cities.
Texas is not Jamaica. I guarantee you that. Texas is not Jamaica.
Ever seen cowboys that were rednecks in Texas? What are you talking about?
Texas is not Jamaica, please.
Texas is not Jamaica. I'm 100% sure of this. But I'm saying, check the data, because the data is actually what informs me with some of these decisions. The data suggests that cities have liberal gun laws tend to have lower amounts of violent murders related to gun crimes. It may seem counterintuitive. The states that have the most restrictive gun laws, like New York and Illinois, for example, the amount of murders that happen every weekend in Chicago is it's like war zone type activities, and they will say, "Oh, it's in the black communities," but it's criminal activity. That's the basis for some of these murders. So I just want us to think about that as we think about trying to incarcerate our young men indefinitely or 15 years minimum in our legislation. That maybe if we have more law-abiding citizens being permitted to carry weapons, then people will be less quick to draw their illegal weapons.
Well,
or will they be more aware to be prepared to defend themselves in difficult situations.
But as the system stands now, we have no problems with a firearm licensing authority operating at the highest level of probity and accountability and integrity. We have no problems with such an entity, which then subjects those of us seeking to apply licenses to certain standards of an international level. We have no problems with that. People should be free in that regard. And as long as they meet the criteria, fine, no problem. The problem, what becomes problematic, is when we are being told that this some Don from the corporate area had received 4 gun licenses, and then this one who was a convicted murderer, and then this other one, and so on and so forth. No, that becomes problematic.
Yeah, but in any reasonable sized country, community, you're gonna have corruption. I'm not. You see, I'm a numbers type of person. I don't look at the outliers. The chances are there probably a handful of guns that get illegal weapons, right? Sorry, that get permits. I am more concerned with the thousands and thousands of firearms that are being confiscated and put in social media in recent weeks and months by JCF. Where are they coming from, Dervan? Guess where they're going? Into the hands of young people who are impressionable, that don't have jobs at this time, that have been hurt by the pandemic, that are being influenced by the scamming and other type of illegal activities. I want to look at the big picture things, the aggregate things, rather than there's always going to be some level of corruption in every society. I mean, that we're human beings. We have it our nature to break laws if we don't. If you don't have strict enforcement of those laws. So I'm less worried about the 1 or 2 Dons that get a legal firearm permit, because at least I know who they are, because they have had to submit to fingerprints and all kinds of identification, than I am for the illegal guns that we don't know where they are, who owns them, how they get into a country that is an island. That means that they have to come in through one of our borders. They have to come in some way. That is more of a problem for me from a sort of aggregate level look at this bit, 30,000 feet assessment of the issue. And so the only way I can balance it are 2 ways. First way is to have the security forces take away all the guns like they're doing right now. Like literally just go through house to house and take them all away. Or 2, arm our citizens so that law-abiding citizens can be part of the community of people who defend our lives and property of each other. We're a community in this way. The only people that don't have any weapons are slaves. Every society have weapons of some sort, and so the Maroons in the sovereign status as Chief Curry asserts and has been, talked about in many fora, are entitled to have their own weapons, even whether they be.
Where does it say so?
So, as I understand of the Treaty of Sovereignty between the Maroons and the British now, which is now, I guess incorporated as the government of Jamaica, the Maroon lands are sovereign lands. So, they must be entitled to have whatever weapons or devices they think.
I think the wrong choice of words there. Not entitled, because they can, like any other citizen of Jamaica, as has been the case with Chief Curry, apply for a license. He got 2, so he has 2 licenses.
Right, and I think that's when he was in the sort of in a different role as a regular citizen of Jamaica. Now he now has a role as the chief of the Maroon community.
That doesn't change anything. One moment, please.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
4:30. Tune in every Thursday at 11:30 a.m. to midday for your legal corner with Davia Walker Huntington during Power Talk on Power 106 FM. You can call our numbers 876-922-4112-5. The text and WhatsApp line is 876-279-8598. You can also send an email at yourlegalcorner106@gmail.com. Join Your Legal Corner for all matters in relation to immigration to the United States. Hair Dahlia offer great legal advice on your immigration queries and concerns. Learn about the filing process, when to file, and how to prepare for the move. That's Your Legal Corner, 11:30 to midday, every Thursday right here on Power 106 FM. It's the show that engages you with stimulating and intriguing
I heard an interview this morning that suggests that. What you just said. That confirmed that. There's
Thursdays from 10 p.m. until midnight.
Hello, Pastor.
Yes.
Can I ask you a question?
Well, you may ask me a question, I may or may not answer.
Hear pertinent advice and share your thoughts on topical issues, relationship matters. Get the answers you need for your burning questions. It all comes together on Dear Pastor with Reverend Dr. Aaron Damas.
Yeah, it really...
That's Dear Pastor with Reverend Dr. Aaron Damas, keeping your company Mondays to Thursdays from 10 p.m. till midnight, right here on Power 106 FM.
We need you to job, a little respect, we get out while we can. We always need to hear both
We'll see.
sides of the story.
Que ahora es en español. Son las 5:28. Quelle heure est-il en français? Les 5:28. 现在几点了？5点28分. 28 minutes to 5 o'clock in the afternoon here at Broadcast House, 32 Lyndhurst Road, Kingston 5, St. Andrew, Jamaica. Do you know where your children are? Are they where they're supposed to be? Doing what they're supposed to be doing? It's a good time to check up on the children. A good time for us to continue with more on your program, Both Sides of the Story, here on Power 106 FM. Still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com. Yes, Dr. Williamson, what difference? It's neither here nor there whether he got the licenses as a civilian or after he became the chief. He would have applied as a Jamaican would, any Jamaican who is eligible.
So in discussing that, I would like to draw an analogy, because I have this sort of national background. So in the United States, the native Americans who were considered to be the original occupants of the lands that are now the United States are given special status, right? They also have sovereign lands. So within those sovereign lands, they can make their own laws, have their own jurisdictions, have their own government, essentially. And outside of those sovereign lands, they'll be governed by the laws of the United States, right? So I think what we should look for in our relationship with the Maroon community is something akin to that. So in Chief Curry's role, he made them say that as a chief, I require or I permit my population to carry firearms or according to whatever measure they decide as their own.
And he and his people will have to subject themselves to the laws of the land.
No, I'm saying exactly that. When you go to Indian lands in the United States, you literally do not
No,
have to
but it's not the same. It's not the same thing at all.
Okay, let's use another example. When I'm at the United States Embassy in Kingston, I am no longer in Jamaica. I don't have to follow the laws of Jamaica while I'm on that on that compound, right? Because as an American resident, I have certain rights that are afforded.
And obviously, you will not allowed to misbehave on American soil, whether that soil is in Jamaica or in Washington, D.C. Hello?
Well, it depends on what the government allows you to do. As you know, there's intelligence services, the CIA, and of course, if you think more with all the clandestine services, think about what diplomatic rights are. As a diplomat, you're not subjected to the laws of Saudi Arabia. If you're an American, right, you can understand the many reasons why they wouldn't want to do that. So there are many case studies as to how you were able to live with a community of sovereign minorities, and they haven't set their own laws and jurisdiction. And I think what Ms. Mary was doing was to highlight this thing, but also to, I think, to bring some protection to the chief, because I'm very worried about the Reggie. I mean, he seems like a very intelligent Reggie as well. I understand he goes to Monroe with an MBA. So it's not like he's in some kind of elegant Reggie who's just or come up. He seems a very considerate and an intelligent man who's interested in defending his people's rights, as any person should. And if you know anything about the Maroons, them people are not leveraging them. They only fight for their rights. If the rest of Jamaica are not willing to,
Maroons are supposed to look out for each other and support each other, and therefore we really should not need weapons because of who they are as a people. They shouldn't, but then they still have to live in a real world. But they obviously have to subject themselves to the laws of Jamaica in that regard. That's just a fact of life. Well, you are free to disagree. Yes, you are free to disagree.
Yes, most definitely I disagree. But I think it's worth having the highlight on this issue that if we think about this issue of availability of guns and firearms, there's an imbalance between the ability of criminals to get firearms.
Yeah, that point has already been made. In the interest of time, let's leave it there, because we do have others waiting in the wings. Thanks for the call. Take care. Blessings to you too. This is your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. Good afternoon. Thanks for calling.
Good afternoon, Mr. Malcolm. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yes, I'm calling to get in touch with Miss Donna Marie Collins, that you had announced that she needed to get in touch with her family, her father's family.
Oh, members. Yes. Where's that message now? Whoa, let me see. Donna Marie Collins.
Yeah.
Yes. We really appreciate your call. I'm just trying to bring up the information. Let's see if we have it here. Oy. It would have come in on this. No. Not seeing anything yet. Oh dear. All right, tell you what, just hold the line. I don't want to hold up your time.
Okay.
Hold the line, please. Let us take your name and number off air. As soon as I retrieve the contact information, will send it to you.
Yeah.
All right, but thank you very much for the call. Hold the
All
line,
right.
please.
Okay.
Please. This is your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM, still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com, live on your smart devices. Okay, I think we just found it. We just found it. So I'm going to send it to you, Davin, and you. Yeah. All right. So we just found it. It's Andreline Royal who sent us the message. And so we're going to forward this information. As soon as we get her number, the caller just now will forward the information. And so this is encouraging news. Donna Marie Collins trying to find her father. And this message came in, when was this? On the 9th of February. And there is some hope. We just got a call. And there is some hope there. So we're going to forward the information that we have here right away. And so let's hit forward and let's send it to the Power 106 mobile device, from where we will send it to the listener who, well, the caller who alerted us a short while ago. So let's do this again. We now need to send the contact number. Just a moment. So let's get the number, contact, share, and we're going to send it over so it can be forwarded. All right. So we're going to forward the information to the caller just now, and please keep in touch and tell us how that goes. Tell us how that goes. In the meantime, let's continue with more on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Poro 106. Yeah, because you have everything now. Yes, please. Or it's all right. I'll just do it from here. Yeah, no problem. Okay. Let's do this. All right, let's go to the next caller in the meantime. 876-922-4112-5. Hello, good afternoon. Thanks for calling.
Mr. Malcolm, good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
I'm going to bring you back to something, sir, because I know you love your history, now.
Yes.
In 1903, we had the first automobile that came to Jamaica, four-cylinder car that was driven by H.W. Griffin.
Oh, yes. That's information we have shared over and over on this program, yes, but thanks anyway for repeating it.
Yes, and the first telephone service was in Black River also.
Not sure about the telephone, but definitely electricity. Yeah. A house called Waterloo.
Yeah. And for people who love the Bible, Jeremiah carried the most words, over 33,000 words.
Oh. And you counted them one by one. I know, I'm troubling you.
Yes, I know, I love Bible study,
Yes.
One other thing that I want to take up with you quickly, sir. Agricultural sector, right? I know Miss Mackenzie deal with so much in the morning.
Yeah.
I don't know what would it take for the government or private sector to launch into the core storage, that we can have more food available and the prices wouldn't go.
There is some, and it's something that has come up over the years. Every now and then somebody talks about the cold storage, so we can preserve the vegetables and the fruits so that it doesn't go to waste, etc. But we don't have it in the way that we need to. That kind of a setup, for whatever reason, we're still not there yet.
And what I see happening in some of the countries around the world where they have protectionism, where they're protecting certain food stuff and food items in their country. What about we doing the same thing here? I don't know if that's possible.
In terms of, say that again, in terms of
some of our vegetables,
mm-hmm.
if they could be protection for their own, where the private sectors will not be allowed to import the items into the country because we want to grow here and have our people have what we grow here.
Yeah, well,
countries do that.
Yes, but that was before the World Trade Organization put in place or managed to get the world to agree not to minimize tariffs and duties globally and in other words, there was a shift to, hence this term where we talk about we now live in a global village. Sorry, one moment, please.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
4:45. The National Irrigation Commission Limited encourages efficient irrigation practices and responsible use of water. By doing so, we will allow the aquifer to be recharged and keep the supply flowing. A message from the National Irrigation Commission Limited. Irrigation, making the difference in agriculture.
The Auto World.
It's the only program on Jamaican radio dedicated to the world of automobile. It's the Auto World with Shelly and McLagan. Get news and reviews relating to vehicles and automotive technology. Learn the ins and outs of mechanical operation. Find out about the various stakeholders in the local and international automotive sectors. From auto finance to road safety to motorcycles, the Auto World is your one-stop shop for everything auto. That's the Auto World with Shelly and McLagan. Weekdays at 5:15 p.m. on Power 106 FM and the Power 106 FM app.
Ghetto kid grabs his shoulder, throws him up against the wall.
¿Qué hora es en español? Son las 5:14. Quelle heure est-il en français? Les 5:14. 现在几点了？5点14分. 14 minutes to 5 o'clock in the afternoon here at Broadcast House, 32 Lyndhurst Road, Kingston 5, St. Andrew, Jamaica. Good afternoon to all working Jamaicans tuned into both sides of the story here on Power 106 FM. It's a good time for us to ask ourselves, how productive have we been today? How productive have we been today? Let's continue with more on your program, both sides of the story, Power 106. Thanks for holding.
Because my concern is about the high import bill that we have for food coming to this country, where we could minimize that to some extent.
Yes, except that the world has moved away to a large extent from protectionism. It's and therefore there is still some of it, but it depends on the variables involved in that, but with that particular crop, and the particular position of the government on it. But in this day and age, protectionism is frowned upon in this world. But it would be maybe a suggestion, an overall suggestion. But we have to be careful, though. We want to ensure that we are producing at the quantity and quality that is sustainable. That we have to ensure, because you don't want to go ahead and say, all right, effective this date, we will no longer allow the importation of lettuce to Jamaica. And then at some point, for whatever reason, our operations maybe we have a hurricane, God forbid. Maybe there is some major natural disaster apart from a hurricane, something major, and it has implications, therefore, for the production of the continued production of lettuce, or growing of lettuce, and then now we have to go back. So,
Understood your point, sir.
hmm?
Understood your point.
Yeah, yeah.
And in closing, sir, I must say I have a very productive day because one of my staff called in sick, and the manager for the department, and I have also do that person work, and I was able to accomplish so much in half the time that person takes to accomplish that task, you know. So I'm proud of myself for the day.
Well, so it is.
Yes. Okay, so have a blessed evening.
You too. Take care. Bye-bye. This is your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM, still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com, live on your smart devices all over the world, taking your calls on 876-922-4112 to 5, 876-922-4112 to 5. And let's see. Let's go to, and we should let you know we're in contact off the air with the person who called to help us to reunite Donna Marie Collins and her father. And that information has been passed, and there's a communication line open right now, and we'll fill you in that regard. It's always a great feeling when we can help to bring people together or back together. That's a joy, as opposed to tearing people apart. Here's let's go to the next message here. This is from Crocs in Black River. He says, "Good day, Mr. Malcolm. I am wondering how long it will take for the banks to furnish the requested information to the Integrity Commission. Or will those under investigation do like Trump and petition the Supreme Court to suppress the information? Now that the matter has been put into the courts, I see no reason for the Integrity Commission to continue to keep the names of the politicians and public servants private. This matter has been dragging on for too long." Sounds like Crocs in Black River has some information. Sounds like he has some information there, which only when you're in certain positions can you have that kind of information. Crocs in Black River. So Crocs in Black River, they have you. Well, hopefully you have shared with the police the information that you have. You seem to have a lot of information here, and there are those, no doubt, who would perhaps be wondering whether maybe if it's a situation in which you don't have a horse in this race, and so it would suit you then to put this information out there, because it will serve to eventually perhaps embarrass maybe people on the other side. Just a thought. I mean, this is both sides of the story. We always have to be looking at the other side and the other possibility. But it looks like you're privy to some information. I haven't even seen this in the media. Has it been in print media? I doubt it, Crocs in Black River. It hasn't been in the media anywhere. Haven't seen anything popping up anywhere. But you are a privileged individual, Crocs, with this information. Well, if it is where, let me see, keep the this matter. Right. Well, let us see. Let us see, Crocs in Black River. But let us see. Donya Kroll says countries with the most restrictive gun laws have the least incidents of shootings. Australia got rid of their guns. In the UK, even the average policeman doesn't have a gun. I ask at our independence in 1962, how many guns were in circulation here? Americans had guns to protect themselves from Indians and slaves. Why do we need them? We have no slaves. Of course, somebody can cheekily say it's it's that is subjective as to whether we have them here. And this one, let's see. This one says federal laws apply to the person says, Dervan, your doctor guessed is wrong on his US state data according to the CDC. Compare New York with Texas to see which state has the most homicides. And there's a link there from Jay Chisholm. Compare Texas with New York. Your doctor is not up to speed. Not my doctor. Not my doctor. That's Dr. Renee Zazu Williamson. Federal laws apply to Indian reservations in the United States. American Indians and Alaska Natives are subject to federal, state, and local laws. You say your doctor again. You mean the doctor. Say the doctor then. The doctor should check the details and data. Thank you very much, Jay Chisholm. We can always count on our listeners to supply information where necessary, factual information. Spider says, what do we really know about, Anunnaki? Google the name and see what comes up. The Anunnaki, is a set of being that comes from the heavens to earth thousands of years ago. We need to unlock the history of mankind. Oh dear. That sounds like a web, Spider. Oh, what a tangled web we weave. Spider, what are you talking about? And Croc says it's in the Gleaner today. Crocs, as I've said before on this program, there are days when I don't get to read the Gleaner or the Observer for that matter first thing in the morning. There are times when it's after work that I get the chance to see what was in the Gleaner today. Have we disposed of today's Gleaner? Okay. All right. That's it? Yeah, let me take a look at it. So Croc says it's in the Gleaner today. And as you can tell, Crocs, if indeed it is, I had before now, thank you, Davin, just handing me a copy of the Gleaner. Is that the front page story? Tell all corruption watchdog seeks court order for FGB Barita to unveil info on public officials. By all means, yes. Well, this is pretty straightforward, Crocs. I thought it was some little, what I call it, chicanery business. Yeah, there's no, it is what it is, Crocs. And if it is so, clearly action is being taken. Corruption watchdog seeks court order for FGB Barita to unveil info on public officials. So the system that we have in Jamaica will take care of that. That's it. Oh, come on, Crocs. I thought it was something more clandestine and no. Come on, Crocs. Yeah. Yes, I thought you had a bombshell there, Crocs in Black River. Anyway, we're almost out of time. Can we thank you once again for the privilege of serving you on yet another edition of your program, Both Sides of the Story, for today, Wednesday, the 16th of February, 2022. The moving finger writes, and having writ moves on, nor all your piety nor wit shall lure it back to cancel half a line, nor all your tears wash out a word of it. All things being well, both sides of the story returns tomorrow afternoon, 2 to 5. Till then, this is Dervan Malcolm reminding all of us that every day is an opportunity to do better than yesterday. Take care. Such is the story of my life.
Yes, and I want to tell
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
5 o'clock.
News,
Yes.
powerful, and credible. Power 106 FM now presents a simulcast of Radio Jamaica's news at 5.
Uh-oh. Oh, dear. That's her personality shining through. So it means whoever is going to have any dealings with her, business or otherwise, they had better not come with any foolishness.